Hello students. Now in this class of biology we are going to start with the next chapter, that is lesson 10, nutrition. And this chapter is quite easy and you have also studied it earlier, most of the contents of this lesson. So let us discuss few of the things. So before we start, we have to study some of the definitions related to this chapter, such as what is nutrition. Nutrition means supply of essential organic and inorganic chemical compounds, which we call them nutrients. So the supply of chemical compounds, organic as well as inorganic compounds, which are required by our body, that is called nutrition, and all such compounds are known as nutrients. Then how will you define food? Food is any substance which we eat or drink, or you can say any substance which contains nutrients. Then how will you define diet? You all know that the combination of food items which we eat in our meals, all the types of food items which we eat constitute our diet. And balanced diet you have been studying from so many classes, previous classes. Balanced diet, you all know that it is the proper diet which contains all the constituents of food in proper quantity for a particular person. So these are the 4 definitions which you need to study in this lesson. You also know that balanced diet of a particular person depends upon the certain factors such as age. As you know that children will need more proteins in their balanced diet as compared to old people, and similarly males need more diet as compared to females. It also depends upon the lifestyle, such as people who are engaged in physical work like laborers, sportsmen, they need more carbohydrates, no more proteins as compared to the persons who are busy in their official jobs. And same way, sometimes there is a special needs. Special needs means, suppose if a person is sick and he is recovering, then obviously his body will need lot of vitamins, lot of proteins, and like that. Similarly, nursing mothers also. Okay, then there are 3 more definitions. Please go through them also. One is meal. How would you define? Meal means food taken at one time to satisfy appetite. So like we say that we should take 3 meals a day. So that is the food taken at one time. And then next is appetite. Appetite means desire to eat. And the next one is hunger. Hunger means uneasiness or uneasy sensation which is caused due to lack of food. So please revise these definitions. They may be asked in, as you know that there is a question of definition, define the following terms. Then our next topic is need of nutrition. As you know that why we need nutrition, we need all those nutrients because our body is growing. Main purpose is growth of the new cells, formation of new cells, then repair of old, injured, worn out cells. We know that we get energy from the food which we eat, and maintenance of the composition of cells, then provision of the raw materials. As our body synthesizes so many things like hormones, enzymes, proteins, tears, sweat, milk, many other things, whatever is being synthesized, for that the body cells, they require raw materials, and these raw materials are provided from the food that we eat. And we also eat food for the protection of the diseases and the infection for the healthy body. Then classes of nutrients. So you have studied in junior classes that normally we divide or categorize the nutrients in 6 categories, and these you all know. These are carbohydrates, fats, proteins, minerals, vitamins, and water. So if we talk about carbohydrates first, our first nutrient. So all of you know that carbohydrates are actually the compounds of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. We normally write like this, CHO, isn't it? And these carbohydrates, they provide us energy. So when we categorize them, we can study in 2-3 types. One is we can categorize the carbohydrates on the basis of the number of molecules. For example, we can say monosaccharides. One is monosaccharides, disaccharides, and the third is the polysaccharide. So monosaccharides, disaccharides, and polysaccharides. What does it mean? See, carbohydrates are basically the compounds of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, and here the ratio of hydrogen to oxygen is 2:1. And monosaccharides means the carbohydrates which consists of one molecule. Mono refers to one molecule. Disaccharides, two molecules, and polysaccharides, number of. So the compounds which are made up of only one molecule of sugars, we also call them simplest sugars. Monosaccharides are also known as simplest sugars because they are made up of one molecule only. And you are very much familiar which are those: glucose, and you all know the formula of glucose, C6H12O6. Fine. The other examples are fructose and galactose. All these simple sugars, they don't need any digestion. They are directly absorbed in your blood because they are already simplest of the molecules, to which all the whatever food you eat is finally broken down into these simplest of molecules. Okay. So these glucose and fructose, simplest sugar, these are found in fruit juices. Galactose is the simplest carbohydrate which is found in the milk. Then next is disaccharide. Disaccharides are made up of two molecules of glucose, or maybe glucose, or maybe one glucose and one fructose, or one glucose and one galactose. Means they are made up of two molecules. And the examples are, they are also sugars, but they are not as simple. These are the simplest. These are the simple sugars. So these are the examples are sucrose, maltose and lactose. Sucrose, which is present in sugarcane juice, just an example. Maltose and sucrose, maltose and lactose, which is present in milk. So you can refer your book here. Sucrose is commercial sugar. It is obtained from sugarcane, or you can also write beet sugar. And it is made up of two molecules because it is a disaccharide. So those two molecules are glucose and fructose. Maltose is made up of two glucose molecules, not one, two glucose molecules. And lactose is made up of glucose and galactose. Fine. So these three are the disaccharides made up of two molecules. And the third one is the polysaccharides. The polysaccharides, here we write the general formula. For disaccharides, we write general formula C12H22O11. Means this is the number of carbon molecules 12, hydrogen molecules 22 and oxygen 11. For polysaccharides, we have to write the number as N, C6H10O5. This is the number of molecules. Then N. N here refers to the number of the units. Means, like I told you, in monosaccharides, one molecule, disaccharides, two molecules, and polysaccharides, here N means innumerable of molecules of these. So they become complex carbohydrates because they are made up of so many molecules of the carbohydrates. And the examples here are starch, which is a complex carbohydrate, and cellulose. Out of these, you know that cellulose is mostly it is found in plant cells, and the cell wall is made up of cellulose. You all have studied. We also take cellulose, but it is not digested in our body. When we eat plant parts, fruits and vegetables, we get cellulose, but this is not digested in our body because we lack the enzymes which can break down cellulose. But then also it is very important for our body because it acts as roughage, and it helps in absorption of water in the body, and it helps in proper movement of food throughout the alimentary canal. So cellulose provides the roughage to our body. And starch is the complex polysaccharide. It is a polysaccharide. It is basically found in potatoes and grains like rice, wheat, barley, etc. Okay, all these are digested, broken down into the simplest sugars, and then our body will absorb. We will study in digestive system all these things. Fine. So here you have to means you should know that there are two examples of polysaccharides. One is cellulose and the starch, and one more is glycogen. This also you should know that all the plants, they store their food in the form of starch, and we also know that in animals food is mainly stored in the form of glycogen, and this glycogen is mainly present in liver and some also in the muscles. The next is second type of nutrient is fats. This also you know that fats are also compounds of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, but here the ratio of oxygen is much higher, and they produce more energy as compared to carbohydrates, almost double. Functions of fats: you all know that fat produces energy in the body, and it is important storage form of the food, and it's served as solvent. You might have studied about fat soluble vitamins. So fat soluble vitamins, they get dissolved in the fat and then only they are absorbed by our body. And fats also provide us insulation, that is prevents loss of heat from the body. Same way proteins. Next is proteins. Proteins, you know that they are large complex molecules. They contain carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen. Nitrogen is the most essential elements in proteins. And you all know that proteins are formed from the amino acids. They are required for the growth and repair of the body. And in emergency, proteins are also used to release energy. Okay. Now in your syllabus there are two deficiencies which are caused by the lack of these three nutrients which we have discussed so far, that is carbohydrates, fats and proteins. So although I think you have studied it before, then we will revise it. The two major deficiency disorders or deficiency diseases are Kwashiorkor and marasmus. Kwashiorkor is caused due to the lack of proteins, and it is caused in the children which is below the age of 5 years. And it was earlier in India, our country, it was quite popular, but now though we have been able to come up with the disease, but still we can say that it exists. There are many children, poor children, especially those who lack proper proteins in their diets. Then their body shows some symptoms. The symptoms are, here they have given, like the body, they will appear underweight and belly is protruding out and skin is dark, stunted growth, loss of appetite means hardly any weight, and many times there will be diarrhea and edema, that is swelling on the feet and the face. And the second major disease is marasmus. Marasmus is caused due to the deficiency of proteins as well as carbohydrates. So here they have given a table showing the difference between Kwashiorkor and marasmus. So this question can come to differentiate, or they can ask you to write some of the symptoms or how it is caused. So how we can cure this disease? It can be cured by giving proper diet to the children. Marasmus is caused in the children, infants which are less than 1 year of age, and Kwashiorkor from 1 to 5 years of age. Then next is mineral salts. So these were the three major nutrients: carbohydrates, fats and proteins. And then we have minerals. You know that minerals are also very important for our body. So to study these minerals, they have given one table here, and you will have to go through this. Some are macronutrients which are needed in large quantities, and you all are familiar with most of them, like calcium. You all know that calcium and phosphorus, they both are very important for our bones. So here you have to study one function and the disorder. Okay. And then you might be knowing sodium chloride, extremely important for our body. So sodium and chlorine, they both are required for maintaining the acid balance in our body, or we can say maintaining equilibrium in our body, that is acid base equilibrium. I mean to say that water balance, that how much water and how much salts should be present, solutes should be present in our plasma, in the blood plasma, that is maintained by sodium chlorine. So that is why they are very, very important, and we get it through the salt which we eat, commonly the sea salt, that is NaCl. And same way potassium and magnesium, they are very important for the working of the nerves and the muscles. So you have to study one function and just go through one disorder which may occur due to the lack of these minerals. These are the macronutrients, means the most important elements, and then below given are here some micronutrients which are needed in small quantities. These are iron, cobalt, copper, zinc, iodine, fluorine, manganese and molybdenum. And you all know that iron is extremely important for us. Lack of iron will cause anemia, that is there will be less RBCs. For the formation of RBCs we need a lot of iron in our diet. And iodine also, you have studied that lack of iodine causes goiter. You all have studied, because it is important for the functioning of the thyroid gland. So similarly these micronutrients they have given. So what you are supposed to do is you have to study only one function and one deficiency disease. This can be asked in your exams. So thank you very much. Next topic we will discuss in the next video.